Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of Market Leader Live. It's your host with the most, your man, Darren M. Palmer. So excited to be with you again. Man, I got an amazing crew, man. This is not proper English or whatnot, and I know that I run a publishing company, but as my grandmother would say, it just keeps getting gooder and gooder and gooder. You know, don't not, forgive me for my southern roots or whatnot, but I'm going to have each guest come on and share their name and a little bit about themselves, and we're going to go forward. We want to start with ladies first. Y'all didn't know I was a southern gent. You know, I'm about to go, but Miss Monica, if you don't mind, share your name and share a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go to Nick, then my main man, Max.
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. My name is Monica Gary. I am the owner of Ingenuous Designs. I am a strategist and event director for a number of my clients. My my clients and also friends will refer to me as the Olivia Pope. They're real life Olivia Pope. I go in and I fix things. I literally put puzzles together. It's a hobby of mine that has turned into a business. And I am very happy to continuously learn from all of my clients. They bring me so many different things that normally would just freak them out. For me, I'm like, oh yeah, bring it to me. Like, let me figure out how I can do it. And I am so happy to be a part of this millennial leadership panel because I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot from you guys and be able to share best practices.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. Nick.
What's going on, man? I appreciate you having me. My name is Nick Sutejdo. I am the director of sales at a sports technology company called League Apps. League Apps is essentially the operating system for youth sports organization to help them manage all the logistic and administrative work that goes to running a youth sports organization. I've been in sales for about 9 years myself, first working in retail, running stores before joining the sports technology startup League Apps that I'm at now. So I'm passionate about leadership, sales, and all things that go into building great companies and culture. So I'm excited to be here and learn from everyone as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. Max, we're on you, my man.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I am excited to be here live from my bed, and that explains I do a lot of data work. So I do a lot of enterprise transformation. One of the things I currently focus on is collecting employee and customer analytics. When we take that information, what we do is we really start that business transformation. A lot of times, if you get in the car and you don't have a GPS or a roadmap of where you want to take your organization, it's really hard to see the end of the road. So that's what I bring to my clients. I do a lot of work with large corporate companies. A couple of my clients are Comcast, Shaw Floors, Next Era Energy, and do a lot of travel. So really excited to be slowing down for a little bit and working from home.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you all so much for coming on and a nice introduction. I want to just go first. When we look at millennial leadership or whatnot, Monica, could you speak far as what have been some of the challenges that you have experienced as a millennial, as a woman, and as a woman of color? So could you address that, the trifecta?
Oh, the trifecta. I think the first thing that pops in my head is not being taken serious. It's because we have to have this balance of not being too eager or too strong in a workplace and not being too relaxed in a workplace as a millennial, as a woman of color. So it's so many different layers to it, but not being taken serious is the first challenge I always have. And it to the point to where I'll have an idea, I'll pitch an idea 90 days prior to someone else who's typically older than me, who's typically not an African-American woman, pitches the exact same idea. And it's like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I'm like, I literally said this 90 days ago, but no one wanted to take it into consideration. It's that push of being able to be taken seriously the first time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica, for sharing that. Also, let's go ahead. I'm going to go with my man, Nick. What are some of the challenges that you have experienced as well with your ethnicity and also with you being a millennial?
Yeah, on the millennial side and being a millennial myself and having a lot of millennials work for me on the teams that I've been a part of, it's interesting because I tend to understand how they tick and what makes them go and operate. I think the challenge for me has been managing up and getting senior leadership and management on specific companies that I'm working for, understand the tactics that need to be done to motivate and drive the team forward, because the things that motivate them are different than what and how they grew up and what they experienced when they were coming up through the ranks as well. So I think that management, senior management buy-in has been a challenge for me, and getting them to see the tactics that we wanted to do, that I want to employ and do, were challenging, especially in the beginning of my leadership tenure.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Nick. Max, we're going to pass it on to you too, brother. You know, what have you experienced, man? All right, we got you unmuted, Max. Go ahead. I think you're going to have to do it on yourself, Max. Unmute yourself.
There we go.
Okay, there you go.
Nice. Yeah, so I definitely agree with Nick. One of the things is getting that buy-in. In some cases, you're going to be working with people that are a little bit older than you. They're a little bit more seasoned. They've been in the industry for 10 to 15 years. And slowly you have to get those small wins and get that buy-in. And one of the things that, you have to do during that challenge is really understand what they do well and also really come in and drive value as quick as you can to get that buy-in.
I look at getting buy-ins, and now we looked at some of the challenges and whatnot. What would be the advice that you would give for not just the millennials, but whether it's Gen X or the baby boomers or management or employers? What advice would you give them? Because I know I've heard it. I know those of you who go to anything for as professional or personal development, or if you're dealing with leadership teams, you got some people who got the negative connotation when they just even hear millennials, period. They just crawl. It's just something all over them when they hear, like, they don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. They're in their feelings. They think everything is supposed to be Google, where they're supposed to be sitting around, drinking, their little lattes or whatnot, or fruit drinks. And, and they think somebody's supposed to play ping pong. If you tell them to get the job done, they start whining and crying. And, why don't they get a backbone or get a spine? So let's debunk some of the myths that, Gen X or baby boomers are having when it comes to leading or bringing in or hiring. How should they go about, how should their mindset, or how should they go about when it comes to hiring or having a culture dealing with millennials? I want to hear a take from each one of you from there. Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's start with Nick, then we'll go ahead with Monica, then we'll go back with Max.
Yeah, I agree. I think the negative connotation that millennials get is that the word I hear probably the most is entitled. And I think that myself personally, like, I actually flip it the opposite. And instead of them being lazy or don't want to work, I actually see it in the opposite perspective, that if you hire the right people and set the right expectations and find people that have a get stuff done mentality and set really big goals, but also give rewards for them when they hit goals, that's something that really motivates millennials that are looking for things like career path and career ladders and development within their career. So to bring this down a little bit, I think the important thing and advice that I would give is hire the right people, set the right expectations, and really develop them to make sure that you can have their career goals aligned with the business objectives. So it's a win-win on both sides.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Let's go with you, Monica.
Absolutely. I agree with Nick in regards to the entitlement piece and finding what works for that particular team member and hiring people based off of their strengths and truly aligning people properly. Because as a millennial, we want to feel connected to what we're doing, and we want our work to have purpose and meaning. There are many millennials who would much rather take a low-paying job that they truly feel connected to than a high-paying job where they have no purpose, no meaning, no true input, because diversity of thought is what's needed. I know we always talk about diversity of how people look, but truly accepting and embracing diversity of thought is how we're going to continue to transform the world around us. We have to be open-minded to what other people's opinions and their thoughts in order for us to be innovative and continue to lead in innovation in our different careers.
I love that, the diversity of thought. I love that. Thank you, Monica. Now, if we don't mind, Max, could you share a little bit of what are your thoughts, your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is the world has changed, and you take the small business sector, you take the large enterprises, you take the Fortune 500 companies, and you have very powerful millennials. When it comes to that, I think millennials have to understand their value. We live in a world where you can be extremely successful, I have a client, his son at the age of 17 was making $240,000. The way that the digital platform, YouTube, educational training has changed, you can have someone in a role that's been in that role and been very successful for 10 years. You can have a 22, 23, 24-year-old come in who's got the additional resources. And I would encourage people to go to trade shows, to go learn and evolve. And once you come back and you get this content and you put it into application, we live in a world where you can test it on clients. You don't have to have these channels to be successful. So when you place them in a corporate atmosphere or you place them in a small business sector, you can have someone very, very successful who can deliver the same results, which means they should be compensated fairly. And I think that a lot of times millennials need to make sure they understand their value and what they can bring to the game.
Great insight. You know, I want to go with something that Joyce has brought up or whatnot. Hey, Joyce, glad to have you on whatnot while we're recording this. Do you all feel that there is a gap in the training? Because when we start looking at, you know, just like any industry or whatnot, some of it can be, you know, just out of date, just to keep it lightly, you know, or whatnot. Some people haven't changed their training modules or even the platforms that they use. So what are your thoughts on the training that most corporations or companies have for millennials? Do you think that it aligns with what's going on, or if not, what could companies do to make sure that it aligns with that purpose or with that insight that allow for someone to feel connected and feel rewarded? Monica, we'll start with you.
I think that companies are starting to realize now that that everyone learns differently and that you have to give people various avenues to access the same information, whether it's a video, whether it's written communication, whether it's having a town hall to discuss that information. But in regards to training, I feel the same thing needs to happen. The same way you communicate one simple update where the CEO is doing a video and there's a transcript of that exact video, and then there's a meeting that you can join to ask questions. You need to do that exact same thing for training in order to truly keep everyone engaged and learning and what they're doing. And a lot of us as millennials are visual learners. We're hands-on learners. So you want to put us with our preceptor or with someone who's doing a role very similar to what we're going to do, so that we can see what they're doing, so we can shadow them, so that we can put what we've been taught into practice based off of you and them.
I love that. Love that. Max, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, it just really depends. I've worked with very, very strong clients who have the budgets to invest in training. They invest in resources. When you get to that Fortune 50, the Fortune 250 range, I mean, you're going to have companies that really invest in training. They invest millions. One of the things that I think there's an opportunity is with millennials is, you know, to Monica's point, is it engaging, right? You know, Monica mentioned the visualization piece, like interactive. You know, people have changed the way that they interact with business. And millennials, we want to engage. We want to stand up. We want to have free thought. And I think that in some cases, we do have to revamp those traditional methods and get into a more modern style of training.
Thanks so much, Max. What about you, Nick? What has been your experience?
Yeah, I'll speak to my experience in first retail. I worked retail management and ran a bunch of different stores for Champ Sports, and the training there was much different than the training at my company that I administer and my team works on now. At Champ Sports, we trained out of training books, and I think the whole paper and pen book, filling it out, is so different than we grow up. Millennials now, like all we know is our cell phones, iPhones, Androids, whatever it is, and how we interact with everything on the internet. So I think adapting to those new norms and innovating along the lines of what Monica said as well is super important. To speak on my company now, I transitioned my career 5 years ago to go to a tech startup, and it's very fast paced and innovative. So it was on the opposite end of the spectrum. And I think the training is definitely an important piece. But one thing that I've noticed in a trend in working with millennials, it's not only the training is definitely an important piece, but it's also the coaching and the continuous feedback to hold them accountable to the training. That's just as important as the curriculum that you put in place, because you can go to a big 2-day seminar, a 3-day seminar, and a company can spend millions of dollars on an offsite. But if that's not reinforced by the mid managers and the people that they report to, that training is essentially worthless and a waste of money. So just as much as the training is important, I think the reinforcement and the feedback that is continuously given to millennials so that they can develop, going back to our first point on what motivates them in their career, I think is really important.
Also, thank you, Nick, so much for that. I want to go, Max, if you don't mind, share with us, if you were advising millennials or whatnot, or some people who are just getting into the marketplace, period, what would be your advice for some steps that they would need to take, or an area that you see that will continue to grow, that they can get in and and have some success moving forward? What are some of the things that you're seeing for as opportunities for millennials, even after COVID-19?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of things right now. As you know, Darren, I've been in change management almost about 5.5, 6 years, and change is important. Right now, companies are going through business transformations, and everyone knows that buzzword. It's digital transformation. And it's also data analytics. Those are two key assets right now that every organization is looking for. And one of the things I would tell millennials is to have a three-dimensional approach to approaching business. You think about a marketing person used to just focus on marketing. Now marketing, they have to understand analytics. They have to understand how to use data. So with that, you have to be able to use data. You need to be able to build relationships. And I would say leverage your networks. Finally, Darren, I would say one of the most critical things you have to do is you have to continue to learn. With so many platforms such as YouTube, things like Udemy. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but you can go take training classes on there. There's a lot of platforms like Coursera, different things you can do right now. You don't have to wait to get approved to school. You can take Tableau classes. I started getting into data science and doing my own data analytics about 12 months ago, and where my skills now are astronomical. And one of the things that I just encourage millennials to do is you don't have to wait. We live in a world now where you have access to people and you have access to tools, and you need to go into the interviews. You need to get your next client, if you're an entrepreneur, ready and prepared and bringing something to the table that shows you bring value.
I love that. Monica, we passing it to you.
Absolutely. I feel definitely some skills that are important for anyone, regardless of your field, is to truly be able to market yourself. And that's how you're going to catch the eye of your next future employer. Even if you are not aggressively looking for a new employer, if your LinkedIn is not up to date, then that is your number one place you want to start. You want to make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date and has the proper information. And being able to, and I echo definitely what Max said, being able to go onto the numerous sites that are out there to develop yourself, because you have to own your own development. You cannot rely on your company or your manager or anyone to develop you solely. You have to own that. You have to be the spearhead. You have to be your own advocate. And that starts with you learning more information about your craft, learning more information about other crafts that you have an interest in. We have the internet as our number one resource. And there's so much information that we have at our fingertips. And I highly recommend everyone go on there and take a course in your spare time, whether it's in the middle of the night, whether it's on a Saturday, whether it's on your lunch break. We have opportunities out there. We just have to go out there and get them.
You know what? That's amazing that you shared that, Monica. Before we go on to Nick, especially what Max brought up, I wanted to share this with the audience. Please take time to invest in yourself. But you gotta be careful on the narrative that you're telling yourself, because you all brought up some great points. None of the things that y'all just brought up took somebody going and getting a doctorate or a master's degree. You said YouTube. It's just a click of your fingers on your smartphone, whatnot, or getting on your desktop or your laptop. So Max, I might have it wrong too, but I was calling it Udemy. That's what I've been calling it for. And I might be wrong, I might be wrong. So I just know, I just type it in. All I know is it got great information on it. That's all I know. So at the end of the day, as long as I'm learning on there, I don't have to have the name right. As long as I'm being able to get the expertise by learning on there or whatnot. So you have these resources. So I just wanted to take a pause real quick while we have these millennials or these individuals who are sharing with us about leadership, of the importance of investing in yourself. And like what Monica brought up was a great point. Own your own development. I can't tell you how many people are waiting on somebody else to do it for them. Well, if my company didn't tell me, well, you find everything else that you want to find. If it's a restaurant that you want to go to, whatever it may be or whatnot, you got to make sure that you utilize your time wisely. And it might not happen during a 9 to 5. That's something that I want those who are listening to this to pick up on. You might need to do it before you go in. It might be something that you take 30 minutes after you get off from work, or during the lunch break, or even sometime during the weekend to get better. I've been blessed and privileged to own some companies, but at the same time, I'm constantly growing. I got some over here right now. Max, I got over that I'm cooking up right now that I've been learning on even today or whatnot. And so it's amazing to me. People are saying they're not where they want to be, but when it comes to development, personal development or whatnot, they're waiting on somebody else to tell them what they need to learn when you can learn a skill set that's going to help you. So Nick, I want to pass it over to you, my brother, and hear what your thoughts are on this.
I completely are in alignment and agreement with everything you just said with the own your own development. I'm a firm believer in the concept of Kaizen, which essentially means continuous improvement and constantly developing and bettering yourself and learning new skills and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And I also subscribe to the theory that don't wait for your manager, don't wait for your company, take the initiative on your own to go out and learn what you want to and make yourself more valuable as well. So I 100% agree with all that. The two other things that I would say that I would give advice to other millennials if you're just entering the workforce are, this may seem a little cliche, but find something that you're really passionate about. Me personally, I'm in sales. If I was in sales and selling something that I didn't love or enjoy, it would be miserable, right? So find a company and product that really resonates with the customers that you're selling to and people really love and are delighted by using or purchasing. I think that's a huge thing because it makes then the continuous improvement part in owning your own development that much easier because you're passionate about what you're learning and developing the skills to better that company or product that you're selling, in my experience. The last thing that I'll say is find a mentor. That might be a difficult, or if you don't know how to do that, I would say go into LinkedIn and find somebody that has the career title that you want to aspire to be. A mentor has been one of the biggest accelerators of my personal career, just because you can get a third-party objective opinion on things that you're doing in your career or in your job on the day-to-day, and they can give you advice and experience and feedback on what you're doing and if it's working or it's not, and their experience to help you overcome obstacles and challenges that you're facing, and it'll overall help you improve your communication skills and just give you another perspective to further yourself as a holistic professional.
Okay. Awesome job, but now I got to get down and dirty right now. I got to bring up something that's going to make some people shake in their boots a little bit. I heard y'all bring this up, so we got to address it. Do you all recommend for millennials and others that sales will be a great opportunity? Now, I think that all the people that are part of this particular conversation are well aware that we're selling at all times anyway. But what are your thoughts on sales for millennials and for others or whatnot? If you don't mind, let's start with you, Monica, on that.
So sales, I feel, is a part of any career, whether you are a customer service agent, whether you work in operations. At some point, you're going to have to, well, not even at some point, you continuously are selling yourself. You're selling whatever your product is, whether it's to your team, whether it's to your clients. You're always selling. And it's important to make sure that what your career is in line with your passion. That way you do it effortlessly. That way it just rolls off your tongue and you don't feel bothered by it. It's not work. It's not work when it's a career, because a career is something you enjoy, something you have a passion behind.
I love it. See that she sold me already. See how Monica did that? She just sold me. What about you, Nick? What is your thoughts on that, man?
I mentioned this. I've been in sales since I've graduated college, so I'm passionate about sales for a few reasons. One, I truly enjoy helping people, and this ties back to the last thing that I was saying. If you have a real product that is valuable and delights people when they purchase it, then you're truly coming across as helping and not coming across as like sleazy salesperson that's just doing it. The other thing is it has high earning potential. Let's just call it what it is. There's not many careers out there that allow you the on-target earnings to earn as much as doctors, right? So if you're good at sales and can do it at a high level, you have the ability to open doors to earn high potential by being really good at sales and sharpening your craft.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Nick. What about you, Max? I know you know a few things about sales, man. Talk to the people, man.
You know what? Sales is instrumental. Leaving after I graduated, I was offered a job. This was in '09. So kind of tell you kind of my age, but in '09, I had a job offer from AstraZeneca and Pfizer Pharmaceutical. That was the year of the recession. So didn't end up taking those opportunities, but I decided to stick with sales, got some experience with AT&T. And to piggyback off Nick, I mean, it was just an amazing opportunity. So I got a chance to work at AT&T for about 18 months, went to the medical sales college, and then I broke into medical sales. So got a chance to do medical devices for a while and then transitioned into veterinary medicine. So up until the time that I was about 25, 26, sales was such an instrumental part of my career to learn how to negotiate, to learn how to persuade, to learn the money aspect. A lot of people say sales, but I felt like I was a consultant while I was selling because you get to learn about business operations and how these products help this organization be successful. So for me, I mean, sales is definitely where you want to start. It's definitely where you want to get the money. I've done a lot of things in my life where it's travel, drove some really cool cars. And to Nick's point, it's about having the money to do those things, and sales enable you to be a 25 or 24-year-old making money. And people are like, dude, what do you do? And I think that's the beauty of it. You learn, you're rewarded from, and it offers an amazing lifestyle. So for me, I learned so much. I learned how to network. One of the things that was really critical in my role in the veterinary medicine side was the ability to hold different lunch and learns and network with different doctors, and learning from those guys that extends your relationship. So when you're in sales and you're managing a portfolio of 60 to 70 accounts, you're traveling everywhere, you got a company car. It is one of the most amazing things that you can absolutely do. It's so rewarding. And I know it's important for you to jump into that to start building your true career and the foundation just overall as you begin to grow as an individual.
Can I just add one thing to that too?
Go ahead, Nick.
I agree with all that stuff. And I think sales teaches you a lot about yourself. Sales is a job where you come up against failure and adversity a lot. If you've been in sales and people that are watching this, they've probably heard no a lot of times. And I think that adversity, when you come up against failure and challenges and roadblocks, and how you respond to that and come back, teaches you a lot about yourself and what you're capable of, and teaches you that resiliency to bounce back in anything.
Monica, I seen you over there bobbing or whatnot. Did you have anything else to say about this before I moved on?
Absolutely. Being in sales definitely teaches you a lot about yourself, a lot about endurance, determination, agility. Agility is important in any field, especially in sales. A customer or client can change their mind at the last minute, and you still have to deliver what they're asking you for. So you have to be flexible and be willing to adjust the way you're thinking, adjust the plan. Know that just because the plan was put in place and it was what we had, it can change at any given second. Like right now, with everything, my clients who have had in-person events that we've had to change into virtual platforms, if the client was stuck on, okay, well, we have to have it in person, well, there's literally no way to make that happen. So we have to flex, we have to adjust. And Nick and Max hit it on the head.
You know what? I love what you all are sharing about this. And this is something that, like you said, check the narrative, what you're telling yourself. If you got your, idea when you hear sales of somebody, like you said, that, not picking on the used car salesman, but you got your mind of some guy with a cheetah print outfit on, got over on somebody's grandmother or whatnot and gave him a dud car or whatnot. That's not what we're talking about. I think Nick brought it up a little bit earlier when he shared about he enjoys helping people. He's passionate about it, but he knows, Max knows, Monica knows, that what they're doing, they're helping people. And so even when I look at it as a business owner, before I was even able to be a business owner, I had to be in sales. So seeing the look on people's faces or whatnot, and seeing the tears roll down, or seeing the joy, the excitement, seeing families being reunited, because some of the things that we do for us when it comes to books or consulting, seeing people, their companies growing or whatnot, that's the thing that you got to keep in mind, that allows for you, when you do hear those no's, it is, you don't take it personal. Like, hey, well, that it might not just be meant for that person at that time. Look at yourself. This is what I realized. I might not be ready to buy something at that particular time, or I might have something else, going on or whatnot. I might know that somebody might have a baby coming. I might need to be ready for that list or something. I ain't saying nobody on this show or nothing, but I might need to be prepared because I need to drop some ducats to buy something. So that might not have been the right time for that particular situation. So just don't take it personal, and realize, instead of saying selling, keep your mind on serving. Because if you can benefit someone, if I get a system, if I get something, I have no problem dropping my card down or writing a check for it, because it's helping me. And I think for those who are wondering if you can deal with sales or not, understanding that you're helping somebody reach their goals and make their dreams come true, I think it's a win-win. Where else can you make somebody else's dream come true and you're able to make your dreams come true at the same time? It's called a law of reciprocity, baby. And that's called a blessing. But other than that, let's leave this show with just some last words of encouragement or advice before we get out of here or whatnot. Monica, share with the people where, part piece of advice, and also any social media handles, website information. How can they connect with you?
Absolutely. So I would say to definitely be your own advocate. And if the first time you try to pitch an idea, if it doesn't work out and you still feel very passionate about that idea, then re-pitch it. If you have to pitch it to someone else within your company, pitch it to that person, but be confident in yourself if it's something you truly have a passion for. And I can be found on LinkedIn as Monica Gary, and that is the number one source to locate me online.
Awesome. Thank you, Monica. Nick, where can the people, piece of advice, and where can they find you online, my man?
Yeah, if I had to pick one thing, especially with everything going on right now with COVID-19, it would be take care of yourself and your family, and prioritize that over everything with everything going on. I've been kind of hit harder being in New York City myself. So take the time, and I think being locked inside is not normal for most people. So take care of your mental and physical health, number one, and prioritize that above all things. Anybody could find me on LinkedIn. It's just Nick Sutejdo, Sutedjo, and that's the best place to find me. You can message me, contact me for any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. Max, parting piece of advice, and where can they find you at, my man?
All right. So parting piece of advice, I would tell everybody that rejection is a part of life. And I've seen so many people not accomplish their dreams and go to the next level in their career. Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're working in the company and, bringing ideas to the table, I think that sometimes we're persuaded that, there's this thing, entrepreneurs versus intrapreneurs, everybody's bringing value. You can work for a company, and sometimes people might not buy into your idea. If you're working for yourself, you're gonna have to get used to rejection and people telling you no. So one of the things I want to leave everybody with is keep striving to, if you're selling yourself or your services. I used to practice in the mirror. I would practice when I go to sleep. I would go to the mall. One of my mentors told me, start going up to people and ask them for $1,000. The weirdest, craziest stuff. Because if you go talk to all these people and ask for $1,000, they're going to tell you no, right? But the thing is, if you start asking enough people, you'll get comfortable getting a no. And when you get a no, what you start doing is you start asking more questions, and you learn how to engage in those conversations. And then second, you get to the point where you don't even ask closed-ended questions anymore. You start having those open dialogues. So that was something I learned in my early 20s, to start asking open-ended questions. And don't be afraid of rejection. I mean, you mentioned a good point, but the people who are afraid of rejection, who are afraid to express their ideas, or are afraid of what people are going to say, can really hinder your success. And one of the things I've been successful in my career is being able to travel across the world, go all these cool places. And if I had that fear, and I was afraid to ask, or for someone to tell me no, or I don't like that idea and I stop, that's going to be your quickest road to destruction. And you have to embrace rejection, go back, like Monica said, find that person, share your idea again and again and again. And, maybe it might take redefining your idea. You can't be, stupid about it. You know what I mean? Maybe you got to go back to the drawing table. But I think that's one of the things I want to leave with people. Get comfortable with rejection and pivot based on what you hear from that feedback and continue to strive for greatness.
Man, amazing advice. Amazing advice. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like I need to pull out my wallet right now or something, man. I'm going to drop it down. I mean,
let me get $1,000, man.
Come on, man. There you go, man. I got to say,
I couldn't unmute myself fast enough. I was going to say, may I have $1,000, please? I was like, wait, let me make sure I put it out there. Like, wait.
Let's ask of it now. If I'm not badly mistaken, will you all be at the happy hour this Thursday or whatnot?
We will be. We will be at the Y Sales Network happy hour, talking about millennial leadership at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can sign up on ysalesnetwork.com. We would love to have you join us. We will go into depth on even the topics that we discussed today, as well as many more. You guys will be able to chat with us live to ask us questions directly. And we are open can of worms, as you guys heard today. So any question you have, just throw it at us and we're happy to share our feedback on that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. And also for those who are tuned into this, I want to suggest that you also, if make it to the happy hour, but I want you to sign up for Y Sales Leadership Retreat. It will be June 25th through the 26th or whatnot. I was waiting to get my tan on or whatnot in the Bahamas, but I'm just gonna have to pause on that real quick or whatnot, put the suntan lotion up. But then at the same time that we still will be able to have the virtual event where we'll be able to have a great experience that George Johnson and the team have put together, whatnot, with Y Sales Network. So make sure that you go and register, go to the website or go to IamGeorgeJohnson.com, or you can reach out. I will make sure that our company or our team members get the information that you need with the actual website so you can sign up and register. But make sure that you sign up for Y Sales Leadership Retreat, June 25th through the 26th. If you're looking at going to the next level, going to the next dimension, as you heard from Monica, as you heard from Nick, as you heard from Max, you want to make sure that you take time to invest and connect with the right people, whether it's the networking and the proper information is going to allow for you to be able to soar. And so I got the information right here because I know that I got a right on time girl, Miss Monica. That's it. ysalesnetwork.com. We have that information right there at the bottom. ysalesnetwork.com. So you can register for the Y Sales Leadership Retreat. You might not be able to have the sun in the Bahamas, but you still can have a good time and have a great experience. But I want to just tell all of you all, Monica, Nick, and Max, I really appreciate you. I know that I've been blessed. I've been able to take notes myself, man, and get some information in. I will be at the happy hour, and I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Thank you so much for coming on and adding value.
Thank you, Darren.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Darren.
No doubt, no doubt. Until next time, remember, it's time for you to be a market leader. The average people do not get paid what they need to get paid. They don't take the trips like Max. They're not able to keep the purpose and whatnot like my girl Monica shared. They don't not able to have the experience and be able to transfer and work on purpose like my man Nick. Till next time, if you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great.